Hello and welcome to the Devoted Outdoorsman Podcast. What is up, guys? Do you guys ever have like one of those weeks where it's just non-stop, just dragging? It's like Monday's here and you're like, oh no, the week has started, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, you're like, man, when's Friday? Well, that's how this week was. It drug on forever. So I hope you guys had a better week than I did. I mean, I didn't have a bad week. I just, it was blah. So I hope you guys had an awesome week and you're ready for this week's podcast. I know this company has been requested to me multiple times by you guys, the listeners. So I finally got someone from Hecs Technologies on the podcast, and it just happens to be the owner, Mike Slinkard. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the technologies that they're using over at Hecs and a little bit about the products. So I hope you guys are ready for this week's podcast, and I hope you enjoy. So there's one last little thing I want to let you guys know before you start this week's podcast. There are a couple little pops and scratches here and there throughout the podcast because there was an issue with the downloading process once we had recorded. I'm not really sure what happened, but I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm sorry, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Hello, Podcast Nation. How are you guys doing this week? I hope you're having an awesome week and you're ready for this week's podcast. So this week on the podcast, we have a great guest. His name is Mike Slinkard, and he is the president and the owner of Hecs. I don't know if you guys have necessarily heard of Hecs, but if you haven't, you definitely need to check them out. They have some pretty awesome technologies that they're using, and that's what Mike's going to talk to us a little bit about today.
Hey, Rob, how are you doing?
Not too bad, man. I can't complain.
Good.
So, like we were speaking about previously, I had several of my listeners suggest me trying to get you on the podcast to talk a little bit about the technologies you guys are using over at Hecs and where they kind of came from. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, how Hecs actually came about in the beginning was actually, just some guys saying, we've all seen how animals react when you get in close. Every hunter out there knows that when an animal gets in close, it's not very long, and you're going to be able to watch their body language change, and they just know something's there. You can have the wind right, fully camouflaged, all that, but when they get close to another big living being, they know something's there. So back in the day, I actually owned a company called Winner's Choice, but I was fortunate enough to have a couple employees that worked for me that had degrees in animal wildlife science. And we kind of got on this subject, and we kind of started doing some initial research just on the internet to begin with. And one of the things that we found and what we were very interested in was how animals use the Earth's electromagnetic field to navigate. And it's very well proven that animals are actually picking up the electromagnetic field of the Earth to navigate. So kind of our aha moment was when we found that what living beings put out in their electromagnetic field is very similar. They're both extreme low frequency electromagnetic current, very similar. So that got us to thinking, if they can pick up this stuff to navigate, why couldn't they be using it for other things as well? And that was the basis of where Hecs started. So basically we developed a fabric that actually blocks your electromagnetic signature. And, this was many years ago, plumb back in 2008 is when we started. But, as it progressed, we got this fabric developed. We used meters to test. You can actually measure this stuff with meters. And we were able to block that electrical signature. And when we put it to use in the field, it was pretty pronounced. Actually, it's a lot bigger deal than people may think. What we know now is that that's one of the things that animals use to tell a living being from an inanimate object. So, in kind of a really short explanation, that's what we do. We block the electrical field that comes out of the body, and it keeps you a lot more concealed out in the field. So that's what we're about.
So the material that you guys use on the clothing, what does that consist of?
Okay, so we've actually developed a fabric that contains a grid of electrically conductive carbon yarn. So if you look at all Hecs fabrics, you'll see a grid pattern. And what that is, it's a highly electrically conductive carbon yarn. It's in an interlocking grid pattern. So basically, we've formed a Faraday cage around our body. A lot of people realize what that term is, but the most common Faraday cage is in the door of your microwave oven. That grid is sized and shaped to block a particular wavelength of energy, and that's what our suit does. So when the electrical energy leaves your body, it hits that grid. The wavelength is actually larger than the grid, so that's now the path of least resistance, and the suit is actually held in capacitance and grounds out whenever you touch ground. So it's a very proven way to block any kind of an electrical field. But yeah, that's how we work. It's a real simple concept. The energy is just trapped in the grid and transfers to ground when you touch ground.
So with you're using carbon, does that help with scent elimination too, or is that a different type of technology?
You know, all carbon is scent absorptive. So we do have some scent absorptive abilities as well. We really don't talk about that too much, although we do have an issued patent on scent control. The fabric that we're using right now is not a quote unquote scent control fabric. It'll help a little bit, but it's not going to, really help in the scent control area. It takes a little bit different type fabric, which we may do at some point. One of the reasons we don't really go into the scent control side is because, number one, it really confuses our message. The electrical field blockage is something that goes upwind, downwind, it doesn't matter. So you're going to see the benefit from a Hecs suit no matter what the wind conditions. I mean, the wind can be blowing at them or away from them. You're going to see that same benefit from the Hecs suit. So it's a completely different kind of technology. It's not scent control. A lot of people do confuse that, but we could actually use any electrically conductive material. Originally, we actually used stainless steel, which you can imagine what stainless steel feels like in your clothing. So that carbon is very flexible. It's also very, very conductive, so it does a good job of what we're trying to do.
So I know you guys have different sets of the Hecs technologies. You guys have like a base layer set and an outerwear set. Is it one of those things where you think everyone should use it as like you should have a Hecs base layer and the Hecs outer layer, or would it be okay just to have a base layer and use a different type of outer garment?
Yeah, most people use our suits as an underlayer of some type. Even we have two basic suits. One is a very, very lightweight mesh. That was our original suit, and we designed that to be used in really any hunting situation. And keep in mind that Hecs doesn't have to be worn as an outer layer. As long as the fabric is between you and the outside, you're going to get the benefit. So, if you've got it on under your other clothing, which is how most people wear that, you're fine. Now, we also have a base layer that's more an athletic fit. It's actually made to be an underwear piece. It's a little more thermal piece as well. So, a little different application, but they do the same thing. You don't really benefit by using multiple layers of Hecs. Once you block, the field is blocked. So yeah, I mean, it's really versatile. You can wear it. Like I said, you can wear our camo suit all by itself. In super hot conditions, it's really nice because, like I said, it's almost a mesh, so it's very comfortable and breathable and things like that. But yeah, it can be worn under or over either way. As long as it's once you block the field, it's blocked. So you can't, there's no benefit to doing more than one layer.
So I think where a lot of these people are getting these questions from, or the videos that we've seen either online or on TV shows and such like that, is where, I've seen several videos that I've been watching, doing a little bit of research on you guys, is I saw one where you were like 4 yards away from a cow elk, or I've also seen a few where people were using it for predator hunting. Is there a certain type of hunter that you guys are catering towards?
Well, we're bow hunters, so, you're going to see a lot of bow hunting stuff from us. But the other thing about our videos is we get a lot of videos from customers, and through our TV show called Hunting with Hecs, which is on the Pursuit channel, we actually give away a free hunt to the best video that's sent in. So we get a lot of videos from customers as well. Hecs will benefit any hunter, but particularly the hunter that needs to get in close and needs to be able to get away with a little bit of movement. Right now, of course, it's turkey season, so a lot of guys are out there, chasing birds. Hecs is extremely effective on turkeys because birds, and like I said, they're proven to see those fields visually. And with turkeys, a bird when they see movement that has an electrical field associated with it, they literally know that they're looking at something that's living. So when you take that electrical field away, your movement suddenly becomes a lot less noticeable to them. They see it more like an inanimate object, and it actually allows you to get away with movement. I know, recently we've, of course it's turkey season, so people are focused on that. We have some videos that are out there right now where we're really moving our hands around. I mean, I've shot over 30 turkeys myself with a bow, and the way I shoot them is I set out on a chair in the wide open, and you literally never get busted drawing on one. I can get the full draw every single time. And like I said, I've done over 30 of them now with a bow. So it's a huge advantage. As a bow hunter, it's cool because I don't have to use a blind anymore. We can actually run and gun. I just carry a lightweight little chair. We set down and put the decoys out and call the birds in and shoot them. So, it's a really neat advantage that you really don't have any other way. Of course, shotgun hunters, if you're moving your head, raising a gun, anything like that, you're going to get away with it, all day long. So, we've actually done the NWTF show out in Nashville for 5 straight years. We probably sold 1,000 suits there. And literally at that show, and you can imagine what that show would be like if we had a product that didn't work. At that show, we've yet to have anybody that's used the suit that doesn't think it works. So, it's something that a lot of people have to kind of see to believe. But as far as big game animals go, and predators and all of that, it also is a big advantage there, again, because when they get in close, and even when they see you, they don't perceive you as a living being a lot of times. And like with a deer or an elk, they'll look at you. Usually inside of 30 seconds, if you hold still, they'll give up on you, and you can actually go and stalk on in. And so the other thing I want to tell everybody is the videos that you see on the TV are all 100% fair chase. We don't do tame animals. None of that. It actually happened just like we're portraying it. We get asked that all the time. Are these tame? Are they this or that? And they're not. I mean, these are hard-hunted animals. A lot of it's done on public land out here in the West. So, like I said, what you see on those videos is actually how it works. And, it's been proven now. We've been out since 2010. And, like I said, it's pretty well proven actually for people that have actually used it.
I definitely see how it could be beneficial for someone like myself that does a lot of, let's say, whitetail archery hunting, where, I like to stack my odds. So any way that I can get another odd in my favor, I like to do it. So on top of running a good scent regimen, I could see having a Hecs suit on underneath your other camouflage or whatever it may be would be beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with whitetail, particularly if you're bow hunting whitetail, if you're sitting in a tree, I mean, everybody's been there. The deer don't walk around looking every tree, but they seem to always look in yours. So, those are the kind of times when Hecs really helps. Because when the deer looks at you, even if they notice you, if you hold still, most of the time they're going to give up on you very quickly, and it allows you to get a shot. So, like I say, you're not invisible. You still have to hunt. You still have to, play the wind and do all the common sense stuff. But it's a big advantage, particularly when animals get in close and you're trying to get that shot. So, it's a big deal for any hunter that, like I said, that needs to get in close and wants more opportunity.
So do you guys plan on using this technology in any other way, as maybe in like a blind setup or anything like that?
We get that question a lot. And while we run into one major hurdle with a blind, and the biggest thing is that in a blind, unless you have some sort of a full enclosed window kind of thing, when the animal gets in the most important place, which is out through the open window, you're literally going to have no Hecs protection at that point, or very little. We're working on a mesh that somebody could shoot through, and that kind of thing, and we just haven't been able to come up with a suitable option for that yet. So, right now the best way, honestly, is to block it from the source, which is, with the clothing right out of the body. But at some point we may do a Hecs blind. We actually are really fortunate because this technology has went into a lot of different areas as well. We're actually supplying the U.S. military now because they can use the Hecs base layer under their regular gear and actually get around dogs much easier without them alerting. So, Also, our aquatic side is going very well. We do a full line of wetsuits and dive skins and things like that for people who want to get closer to animals underwater. And then we're also launching a Hecs wildlife line for bird watchers, wildlife enthusiasts, and everybody who may not be a hunter that wants to also have good interaction with animals. So it's a neat project. It's growing and going a lot of different directions. So, but as far as the blind goes, hang on, there could be one at some point, but we want to make sure this is going to be effective for everybody before we launch it.
So you said you guys have an aquatic line. That's pretty interesting. So it's for like people that maybe like divers or like spear fishermen, stuff like that, to swim closer to the fish. I never really thought of it that way, but I guess similar circumstance as it would be with a large mammal.
Yeah, I mean the aquatic side, the electrical fields and electrical reception in fish is even better understood scientifically than it is with mammals and the terrestrial animals. So blocking that allows people to have a much better and safer interaction with underwater life as well. We sell a lot of suits to spear fishermen, recreational divers. A lot of the world's top photographers right now, underwater photographers, are using Hecs. Actually, I believe we were on 5 different Shark Week shows last year. So if you were watching Shark Week, you probably saw a Hecs wetsuit and probably saw the Hecs logo. Usually it's on the shoulder or on the chest. But yeah, I mean it's going in a lot of different ways, and like I said, we're really excited about watching it grow in those realms as well.
And you guys make a line for children and women and as well as adults, men, correct?
Well, right now, our basic Hecs suit, which is the mesh suit, we have it in sizes extra small all the way through 5XL. So we have a size that'll fit just about anybody. The extra smalls and the extra smalls are more youth sizes and kid sizes. But that suit in particular it's basically a long sleeve t-shirt. It's got pants that are cut kind of like sweatpants, so they're pretty versatile as far as fit goes. And then of course everything always comes with a head cover as well.
So what type of warranties does your clothes come with?
Okay, so we warrant that all of our Hecs products to be free of defects in material and workmanship for a year. So if you get it and it falls apart or for whatever reason it becomes unconductive, which is extremely rare, that's what we guarantee. I mean, we can't really guarantee success in the field because there's so many variables out there. But like I said, I can tell you that we've been out since 2010. And the number of people that actually contact us and say the suit doesn't work is minuscule. I mean, literally in our entire time in business, it's less than 20. So, and most of the time, those people, if they contact us, we can analyze how they're using it and tweak that a little bit, because a lot of times it's people that don't wear the head net, or they're have unreasonable expectations and things like that. So like I said, it's really been proven in the field. There's still a lot of skeptics out there, and we realize that, but there's not skeptics that have actually used it and put it through its paces in the field. And that's what's really exciting to us. Not only the growth in all the other places, but also the fact that we just have a very, very high satisfaction rate.
Well, that's good to know that you guys do hold up to your guys' agreement with the clothing and everything like that. And everybody, there's going to be that one person in every group that gets something and then just complains because they're not doing something correctly, or they're out hunting and they're trying to do jumping jacks in front of animals and it's not working for them. So in every group there's going to be that one guy. But from everything that I have done in my little research that I've been doing on your guys' company, I have not found very many bad reviews, and the ones that I have found look like it could have been a situation where somebody was not using the product properly.
Yeah, most of the time it is. Like I said, we're really passionate about making sure that people who get the technology, know how to use it, number one, because it comes with instructions and all of that, but also that they have a good experience. And that's probably the main reason we haven't launched a Hecs blind yet, because it doesn't make sense for us to put a Hecs product out there that we know has a flaw that people are going to have issues with, because the last thing we need is giving skeptics ammunition to talk about us. So it's really important that all of our customers see the benefit. And like I said, we've done pretty good with that so far. And the company's grown very, very well. I mentioned our military side. That one has actually been going on for, since about 2011, I guess, is when we gave the military the first suit. So they've been testing it extensively for quite a few years. And we actually entered into agreement with Aardvark Tactical in California, who is a certified military supplier, and they were able to actually fulfill the need that the testing has actually came up with from the military. So pretty excited about all of that. But like I said, I mean, it's, the skeptics don't like to see the proof, but it is actually completely proven and vetted at this point.
So what's your basic suit cost for just like the average use? So you get like the net and the face covering and the shirt and the pants. What does a setup like that cost?
Yeah, so our standard mesh lightweight shirt, pant, and head cover is $179.99. The base layer is $229.99. Again, that is a shirt, a pant, and a head cover. The base layer is, on top of having Hecs technology, it's also a very high-tech piece. It wicks moisture very well. It's actually a semi-thermal, so you have a little bit of other benefits with it as well. And then we also sell gloves, socks. We also have a ball cap that we sell separately. We also have a pull-up face net. We actually call it our multi-rag, which is you can use it as a pull-up face net. You can use it as a beanie. It's a kind of a multi-use piece of headgear. So there's a few different options there, but the basic suit, and that's the one that kind of the most important pieces, are $179.99 on the mesh and $229.99 on the base layer.
So I think that's pretty affordable if, for those people that are serious about hunting or serious about other things like bird watching or, like you were saying, the aquatics, like diving. I feel like it would be very beneficial for someone to get, and it's reasonably priced. Also, when it comes to your base layer, you were talking about it also has thermals. People go out, let's say they buy an Under Armour thermal set, they're going to spend $100, and maybe more depending on where they go and where they if they just shop around. So you spend that extra $100 and buy it through Hecs, and you're getting the Hecs technology and you're getting thermals at the same time with the wicking capabilities. So I feel like, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's something that's an advantage for people. Everybody sees the benefit, and it's really not that expensive. Literally, our base layer, a lot of people use it right in place of their normal, Under Armour or whatever base layer that they're using. So, because like I said, it does have basically all the properties of a really good base layer plus Hecs technology. So yeah, we tried to make it affordable and because the big thing is for us is to get people out there using it, and that's really how our company has grown so much over the years is actual people using it, telling their friends, seeing the difference, and all of that. So yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Well, I think you've definitely convinced me talking to us here. I think I'm going to have to go out and purchase myself some of this Hecs and give it a try and hopefully get some good video. I'll send it to you through your guys', I think it's an email you guys have it all sent through. Well, with that all being said, I really appreciate your time today, and I hope that you and your daughter have a great turkey season.
Oh, we will, for sure. And, if anybody wants to see more information, our website is hecsllc.com. That's HECS.LLC.com, and it's got all that information. It's got links to the aquatic side and tactical side and all of that as well. There's tons of information on there, videos, scientific information, and of course, obviously, you can order on the website as well. So I encourage everybody to check that out, try Hecs. It's gonna surprise you the difference that it'll make.
So I definitely think that I'm going to be getting myself a Hecs suit just so I can get out in the field and see how it really works, if the animals do notice or if it makes a really big difference. Because like I said during the podcast, I like to stack all the odds I can in my favor. I like to try to control everything that I can. I like to try to control the wind. I like to control the odor that's being released. And I like to control all of the human activity in the area that I'm hunting. So a lot of times on the public land that I hunt, I can't necessarily control what other people do. So I think having Hecs on my side, stacking that one little extra odd, will put in an extra benefit. And I can't wait to try it out this year. So I definitely think if you're looking for some type of new thing to add to your regiment, I think you should definitely check out Hecs. Mike is a super nice guy, and I'm sure him and his team would be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. So make sure you guys go check out the Hecs Facebook page and check out the Hecs website. There's lots of information on the technologies on both of those sources. With all this being said, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. I hope you stay safe, and it's turkey season, so I hope you get out and shoot some gobblers. And remember, the snakes are out, guys, so be careful. And make sure you tune in next Saturday for the next episode of the Devoted Outdoorsman Podcast.